this is the third video. They might all go up on the same day. Yes, same outfit. I'm actually loving this. It's been a while since I've worn this. I do like to roll up the sleeves. I got this on clearance from Primark years ago. Today's video, I did actually clear up after each video. The first one I did was to do with a little mini mixed haul. I got everything put away, came back on and did what I was getting rid of in day 16, which is today. And I actually put all that away, recycled everything and cleared that up. So it's a little bit less in my games room now because I've done my mixed haul and what I'd collected today. Trying not to junk it up anymore, and like I said, I keep going in there. Today's video is I'm not gonna go into too much detail in my general life, because if you've been following me for a number of years, you know what's going on, and I keep saying that. And I often say what you see is what you get. But something I've been learning over a number of years, especially last month in January and going into this month, is about how much do we really need. I've learned this valuable lesson probably quite late. I don't think it's never too late, but basically when I've done a lot of shopping, I've done obviously a lot of hauls on YouTube and Shop With Me. You'll probably realise, and I've mentioned this in a previous video and probably today's videos, I haven't done any Shop With Me recently, and I haven't done many hauls or even food hauls because I wouldn't say they're boring. They're not boring to me, but they might be to you, especially if things tend to be repetitive. So some of the things that have worked for me may not work for you, but it might kickstart yourself or give you some ideas on ways to spend time rather than spend money. And I know there's no end of videos probably on YouTube about this sort of thing, especially the beginning of the year. I can only say what I've done, what works for me. And one of the most valuable ones is shop your home. I bring this up so many times, and I did a lot of this during lockdowns, because you couldn't really go shopping unless it was food shop, because a lot of the clothing, as you probably know, in full lockdowns, you couldn't, they barred things off, so you literally just went in for food. So I've done this a number of times, and what I said about it again in another video about taking tags off, sometimes if it's an item that I'm keeping up for probably, say I bought it after Christmas for myself, for the following Christmas I might leave the tag on and things like that, or if it's for a specific occasion or for holidaying, those sort of things, because it's always nice to have something new, especially if you can get it a reasonable price or on clearance. I do tend to look a lot of time in charity shops. Charity shops do vary from bric-a-brac, DVDs, books, clothing, the lot, from what areas. Some areas are more expensive than others, I found, and some charity shops, even in the same town, can differ vastly in prices. You know me, I do charity shops, although I have actually cut down, dare I say, on my clothing. I've had new pyjamas and everything, but yeah, some items will be leaving my home even through my clothing. And by shopping your home, you can review what you got. You could even review, declutter and organise at the same time if you're not in that frame of mind, but fancy, oh, I really want to go shopping, I really want a new outfit. Why don't you shop your home, go through your clothing, even match things up, try things on and match things and put things on that you probably would not normally put together. And you might be surprised, you might surprise yourself and find a total different outfit. I know often they say key items. I put my hands up, I have got an awful lot still of t-shirts, and I dare say I still buy the odd one or two, but also I do remember to say to myself, one in, at least one out. Whatever comes in, the equivalent, if not more, has to go out. And that's the way that I try and make sure my home doesn't get cluttered. I do sometimes have to wait a period of time, like my birthday. I've still got birthday money, I have pajamas and everything, and sometimes it might be a little bit, maybe a week or a couple of weeks before I get round to it. But very often when I've took tags off, or even if I'm doing tags on because I want to save them for a holiday or something, and I put them in a drawer or a wardrobe, I think, right, now what can I take out of my space to cancel out the item that's going in, especially if you've done all your decluttering and everything. Yeah, I would love to get my clothing down by 25%, but I got rid of so much over the years. It was surprising how much I got rid of. And this year, like I said, one of my goals was to wear things that I don't normally reach for, and swap things out. And if I'm definitely not going to wear them, they are going to leave my home. I do have an exception on a couple of sort of items because they're not very used very often. I've got like a velvet sort of leopard shirt. It's absolute years old, but I wear it for special occasions. It is warm, so I don't have to keep a jacket on if I'm in a restaurant or something like that, or wear a cardigan. It's nice. And I got a dress that I had years ago. I tried it on recently. It had a stain on, so I put it in the wash, and I'm hoping that's going to come out and things like that. So those sort of things. But if it's something you're definitely not going to wear again, or you don't feel comfortable, you don't like it on yourself, just let it go. I mentioned about, I basically had 3 sizes. I had one that, well, I wore things like, I like things baggy and loose, and maybe because a lot of people said when I wear something tighter, I felt self-conscious of my bottom and my stomach. But the amount of people that used to say to me, crikey, you've lost a lot of weight compared to a week previously or a month previously, when I've not really lost the weight but have worn something baggier. It's just how you feel. If I'm moving around, I do like things more baggier, and I am trying to learn that lesson. So I have got items that are slowly letting go when I'm at my biggest, dare I say largest. Then there's the size I am at present. They're the clothing items I am trying on. A little bit of a home fashion thing, especially when I'm on my own, because I've got a full length mirror in my bedroom, and thinking, do I like this, do I don't? Sometimes I've even known if I'm on my own for any length of time, I might video myself, because it's surprising. Yeah, you don't realise sometimes how you look. That could be a blessing or a curse, I don't know. But yeah. And then I've got the size where it's too tight, don't feel comfortable in it, don't know whether I'm ever going to get down to that size. Just let it go. It might be wasteful, but then you could treat yourself to a few new pieces and bring those into your home as a sort of treat and a well done pat on the back because you've lost the weight. But then that other segment where it was a bit on the larger size, let them go. So yeah, so I'm just trying to concentrate on that one segment, what I enjoy wearing, what I'm going to wear, what I feel comfortable. That's the items that I am keeping. I have got some coat hangers that turn around the opposite way. They're the items that I haven't gone for some time, and they're the sort of things that I probably will go out in if it's more dressy, or wear in the house if it's more casual, and see whether I feel comfortable in it. I don't tend to wear a lot of things that are buttoned up. I do prefer a t-shirt. This has got buttoned up and this is fine. It is a little bit on the larger side, but it's comfortable and I do wear it, especially sort of this time of year. I've got a green one that I got from Primark as well, but sometimes I've done it in the past where I've had a slightly like a vest top underneath or a tighter t-shirt and had this open halfway or completely open and had it the sleeves rolled completely down, had it like a cardigan type jacket sort of thing over a t-shirt and layered it, so things like that. So one item, I'm going to be on this age, I think you're going to get bored. I'm sorry if you fallen asleep in this or whatever, but if you can understand, shop your home, that's clothing. The same as decor, as you probably aware, I've got still quite a bit of decor. I've got rid of a lot, but I'm trying to use those pieces where I can adapt them or leave them out most of the year. If it's a vase, just change artificial flowers, or like I've done at the moment on my dining table, I got fresh flowers because I had them for my birthday, but normally I have lights in there, baubles, artificial flowers, or sometimes if I'm not using it completely, I stand all my sort of sprigs and things that I'm not using in my decor cupboard. I like wick, I like wooden items, anything that's possibly black, white, cream or gingham, and a lot of those pieces I leave out most of the time, and I even lift them out at Christmas and just put a few pieces out. Because I used to go mad for different seasons, but I'm cutting that down now. I'm that much older. I wouldn't say it's not that I can be bothered. That's not strictly true. I used to be Mrs. Christmas. I loved Christmas. I still do, but it is still a very difficult time of year for me due to the fact that hubby's birthday was Christmas Eve, and we used to make such a big thing of Christmas. This is the second Christmas I've been without my husband, and it was heart-wrenching again, and I had a very quiet, difficult Christmas season with just my youngest son, Daniel. But let's not get off of subject, but bereavement, you know, anything health issues, this all affects yourself, your home and everything. So this is sort of again crossing over between, without waffling, between shop your home, what you get rid of, decluttering. Sometimes when I had a good session, even just getting rid of packaging and recycling stuff, I feel lighter. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel good that I'm going to progress and do something else. Or I've got, say I've got a small pile of ironing. I tend to save that up when I'm watching TV. I go and I don't mind doing the ironing when I'm watching TV. I think sometimes when you feel good about yourself, you're more likely to give yourself that push and to get things done that you have put off. And that's something else about putting things off. I've started going through my list of things that I've actually put off, and some items, I would say 3/4 of the items, they've taken a lot less time than what I thought, but then I've got the odd thing that does take more time than what I expected. No spending also. I have on a couple of occasions recently, because I've been out of my home quite a bit. I'm very much a homebody, I must admit. I never get bored at home. I might get down. There's a difference between being bored and having some form of behaviour. Whether it's, I wouldn't, yeah, I probably could say depressed or anxiety. Mine's more anxiety than anything. I'm sometimes leaving the home and everything. I do go out and I have been pushing myself. This last week I have been out quite a few days. That's why I'm having a day in today, get these videos, get my thoughts across to you and things like that. And this particular time I had problems with the medication. I went 2 or 3 days previously. I went to Boots, then I went to my surgery, then back to Boots. Finally got it sorted and had to go back 3 days later because in between that I had an eye from the hospital, so I couldn't see very well. It was a bit off balance, so I had to leave it a day or so before I could go. And this particular day I went to bits to get my prescription. And there was some teenagers. Now, never judge a book by the cover. They say this, but I do it all the time. And they were very polite. There was maybe 4 or 5, I say young ladies from college. And I've always been able to relate to people older than myself and that than younger. I've always been that. I'm more outgoing with, dare I say, the older generation than the younger ones. And I'm always frightened, I suppose, or nervous that I'm going to get some kickback or something. And I know she was getting impatient. She came after me and I was told 15, 20 minutes for my meds. She was told 20 to 30 minutes. And she needed to get to college. And then she had one friend turn up, and next thing you know, there's 5 of them. And they were really polite. I know I shouldn't say this for teenagers, but I've had this where I've been pushed and shoved on escalators by teenage and everything, but they were amazing. And I did have a little natter with them, and it was really nice, you know, getting to know them. And in the end, they called me, and I happened to say, I said, this lady's also waiting, young lady. She's got to get to college, and there was another medication there. And I said, I don't know her name, but is it for this lady? And she said the name, and it was. And I said, oh, you know, allow her to go first. And I said, sure. And even she thanked me, because she was going to be, they were all going to be a bit late for, because they had about a 20-minute, 25-minute walk to go to college, because they were going to walk it. And she thanked me, and so did the others. And I talked to the other squad, and she was very thankful and very appreciative. And you know what, just that little conversation, and to have a bit appreciation back, because I allowed her to go first. I mean, I've been shoved with trolleys in supermarkets before. I've actually hurt the back of my legs, been shoved, and I've sort of staggered out of the queue, and they've just barged through. I think it was my husband that was with me at the time. I said, excuse me, what do you think you're doing? You don't do, that's assault. And actually a security guard actually witnessed it, because it was near the cashiers, and came forward and told this person to either step back with the trolley, because he then argued that he was next in line when I was before him. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. I'm going to go off topic, and I probably have said these stories before, but I'm just explaining the little things that have happened to myself that made me nervous about actually simply going shopping. It's happened a couple of times. It happened in Smith's, and I'm sure I've said this story before. Again, this is definitely not judge a book by its cover. There was 3 gentlemen, and they were blocking the aisle in Smith's. It was quite a busy time. I think it was coming up to Christmas, you know, December time. And I said, excuse me. I said, excuse me. I said it about 6 times. I said, please, could you move? Because it was right at the end of the aisle. And I had thought, normally I would think, you know what, not going to get involved. I just got to walk all the way along the store near enough to come down a different aisle. And I thought, well, why should I? They were talking, they weren't shopping. And I said it about 3 or 4 times. And I felt very nervous. And in the end, I just went like this. I got my trolley, because I bought stuff for my granddaughter for Christmas. This is going back a few years. And I started to slowly walk, turn around and walk. I'm not saying they were sexist or anything, but it wasn't exactly, I wasn't quite spoken. I did literally, the 3rd time I did raise my voice and said, excuse me, don't ignore me, please could you move? There was actually a shop assistant there stacking shelves, a male. Obviously, I know I've been told before they're not to get involved, but they could have just piped up and backed me up as being a female. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but could have stepped up and said, oh, do you mind moving and letting this lady through? So I actually turned round to go, and I thought I'm going to have to go the full length to go down another aisle. And there was 4, I think there was about 4 gentlemen, what I can remember. And I'm not knocking it, but yeah, tattoos, skinheads, leather jackets, bikers. And I thought, oh. And I've been caught like this in America when I was on holiday about bikers, but that's another story. And he actually stepped up and he says, "Excuse me, you do not ignore this lady. She's asked you 3 times politely." I remember it, and I thought, I'm thinking, they, I wouldn't say they're rough and rugged, maybe they are, do you know what I mean? And they jumped, they moved. You never seen them move so quickly. He says, "There you are." Um, I must admit, I think they might have been one of these organisations. I could have been wrong because they were holding, dare I say, each a few dolls each and everything. You hear these charities where these bikers buy gifts and everything. And he says, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Just, I thank you. I appreciate that. Have a good day." And I smiled and moved on. And it did actually make me feel good that somebody was there to back a person up that's on their own and everything. Sometimes it depends on confrontation. I do not like confrontation, and it depends. Um, Sometimes I've done it where I've crossed the road. If there's a whole group of teenagers and things like that, I know it's all wrong, and I hope I'm not going to get any kickback. Please be respectful of your comments back, but I'm just explaining what makes me nervous. I don't like crowds as such. Again, my anxiety goes up. I don't like being centre of attention. Yeah, I've got people watching me, but that's different talking like this. But those sort of things do make me nervous. Only takes one, I know it's bad, takes maybe one sort of bad situation and it knocks me back. And then I feel as though I don't want to leave my home again for good many days or whatever, or make excuses not to go out and things like that. There is really good people out there, and I like to say, instead of this seesaw, it's more up here. It's been recently, especially, it's been more positive. People have been more polite, dare I say. I've had instances, I know this is totally off topic, when I've got on the bus and said to the driver, "Oh, good morning, can I have a day rider, please? What's so good about it?" Like this, and I'm thinking, I know he's probably, maybe he's had a bad morning or something's happened in his life, but he's there for the people. And I thought he could have just said, "Yeah, thanks, same back," things like that. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, oh, you know what I mean? It was one of those times where going to an appointment and I'm thinking, going to go out and this is how I am. Going to go out on that particular day and try and be positive. It's really more difficult, I think, I could be wrong, to be more positive than negative. Dare I say, I'm pretty negative, a lot of ifs, what ifs, and things like that. Yeah, I can be that way, but I wake up, especially if I'm leaving my home, and I'm thinking, right, I'm not going to get agitated. I am going to take my time. I've got everything ready for this appointment or to go out of the house. I have got my clothing sorted out. I've got my bag sorted out. And I'm going to, while I'm out, even though it might be up here, I am not going to let anything negative pass my lips. And it can be very difficult, especially when everybody's hustling, bustling about and rushing around everything. And this is what happened in the boots this particular occasion. I thought, no, I can wait. I know my meds are in her hand. I know they're there. I haven't got to come back for them. And I said, no, because let this young lady go first. And they'll all say thank you. And I'm thinking, oh, thank you. It's just nice for someone to be positive. Little things like that do actually boost my self-confidence in myself. I have been in boots and I have also done it. I've walked out in boots before. because I was about to lose it after 7 days trying to get medication. One was my insulin. Luckily, I've always got a lot of insulin, and there was always a problem after problem. I hadn't got this. They're saying they were short staffed. Not my problem. I told them this. She's been on holiday. Not my problem. I've been trying to get these meds. This prescription sat there for 7 days. Why hasn't it been dealt with? In the end, I walked out, and my eldest son, who was visiting, actually went in, and the lady knew the surname, apologised, said, could you say I'm sorry to, I believe it's your mother, that I know she was agitated, and I know it was no excuse. My son actually relayed that to me, and I'm thinking, yeah, you didn't really have an excuse for a prescription that sat there for 7 days and kept saying I hadn't got it. But that's another subject. But that was that sort of beginning of last year? It's no excuse, but I didn't feel well. I'd been to the surgery, and I hadn't slept properly for a good many nights. So admittedly, I wasn't in the best frame of mind. But I can't deal with this. Talked to the hand, walked out. Didn't shout, didn't lose it. But you see about 6 people in front of me. Nobody had their meds, and everybody was getting agitated. And I think that has another effect on you. If you could be a little bit more positive, a bit more considerate, if you can. Not always the case, because maybe you've got a good reason, like I did, 7 days for one lot of meds I was trying to get. And I think sometimes if you put that smile on the face, it can be, you know, it makes somebody else feel positive. And I have been on the both ends of the line. I've been the customer. I've also been behind. I worked in a business, I'm not going to say which one, and used to deal with complaints, and the amount of excuses I used to get, especially when I thought this particular gentleman was ranting and raving, and gave me the same excuse why he couldn't make this particular payment. And I'd spoken to him a number of times, and did he think we were idiots, that it was on record? How many times can a mother die in 2 years? And we gave him the benefit of doubt for a couple of times, and I did say, excuse me, I said, I don't need to listen to this abuse. And I said, exactly when did your mother die? He says, 2 weeks ago. So I said, she didn't die 6 months ago. She didn't die a year ago. She didn't die a year and a half ago. And I had all the records, and the amount of times that I had actually spoken to the same gentleman and gave me the same excuse, and it went dead. And I said, hello, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. And he hung up because he didn't have a leg to stand on. He didn't have another excuse. I had it all down on the record of the excuses. Okay, you give people leeway and everything, but you know, taking the mickey or something like that. I think I've gone totally off topic here. I was talking about finding ways to not spend, but I think in theory, in a roundabout way, this all comes back to myself. If I'm feeling a little bit better myself, I'm likely to push myself that bit further. Yes, you get the knocks, but I try and see it, well, there's one knock, hang on a minute, I've had 3-4 positives, so let's learn from that knock, forget about it if it's something forgettable, don't have to deal with it if it's not important, or deal with that in another way. There's always some way of getting through things. And I think what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to knock myself on one thing or another and say that other people have got it easy, because everybody deals with illness, bereavement, emotions, depression, anxiety in different ways. You have different levels, and I think this was a sort of the conversation I should have maybe brought up again in December and January, but I have had my really worst moments, not just in 2023, not just in 2024 with two more bereavements. That's two bereavements in over 2 years, four bereavements, sorry, two in 23 and two in 24. The end of sort of October 24, a family member had a stroke. They had the second one, so that sort of knocked me again. Like, I spent time in the hospital and with machines bleeping and everything, and it does bring up all those emotions that I sort of went through for about 8 months, 12 months sort of thing, while I was in hospital with two family members at the same time. It does hit. It does bring those emotions to light, again, a lot of what ifs. I know it's bad. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. My hubby used to say that a lot. Some of the sayings make me smile. Wing it was his favourite, and I'm not going to try not to get emotional here. Wing it is one that we bring. I don't want to cut this video off. Wing it is one of his favourite sayings, and it still makes me smile, because I wouldn't say we're chalk and cheese. He was my soulmate. He would never be replaced, but he was more a positive, a wing it sort of type of person. I'm possibly more negative and a planner. You would have thought we would clash, and we used to have to do a lot of sort of negotiations in the middle sort of thing. Sometimes his side might work a bit better, sometimes mine, and sometimes we would just have to mash the wing it with the planner. You can understand, but it worked, and we was married nearly 35 years, and I knew him 4 years before we got married, so I've known him practically, other than the first 16 years of my life, 16 or 17 years of my life, I've known him all my life sort of thing. So, yeah. So, there's a lot going on in your life, in my life, that changes you. And again, going in a roundabout way, and I'm sorry if I bored you to tears. If you've fallen asleep, fair enough, but emotions do actually contribute towards what you're going to do, how you're going to get past that hurdle. And shopping, maybe one of ours for the last 2 years, for me and my youngest son Daniel, who lives at home with me still at the moment, is we went away quite a lot. We went to, I think everyone we used as a base was Haven. We did quite a lot of parts of the country. And we did eat out a little bit when we did eat a lot in the caravan, static caravans and everything. But with Haven, maybe we would just go out for one drink, but we'd have a whole evening of entertainment and things like that. The swimming pool was in with the costing, and we had some amazing swimming pools as well, and things like that, activities, visiting places, and very often we would picnic just to keep the costing down. So that got me through probably 2 years, but then you still got to face those times at home, those emotions, the depression, the anxiety, and sometimes it used to hit quite heavily. Say when we come back off a week's holiday, and the first time I'm on my own, and that's when I would have to be busy. That's how I sort of cope with it, and I think, but in my mind's eye, sometimes I can't switch off at night, so I have to think things through or come up with some fun plan or whatever before I settle down, so that I've got something sorted out. I can do this, this and this to make my end goal, or to make it happen or to make it easier on myself. Now, if you're depressed or whatever, or are you likely to go out and shop? I do love shopping. My problem is mainly maybe not some. I like shopping for decor, you know that. I like a good bargain. I've reined that in a lot. That I'm trying to cut that down. But I do like spoiling my granddaughter. I like purchasing gifts and buying stuff for relations. And both my sons, especially my youngest one, Mum, he says, I got, as you know, when we did his wardrobe out, he says, Mum, please don't buy me any more t-shirts. I'm trying to think now whether, seriously, whether I've got one coming in my Temu order ready for Easter. He says, Mum, please don't buy me any more clothes. I don't need any more clothes. I've got tags on, I've got socks that I haven't worn, I've got underwear that I haven't worn. Admittedly, I said I wanted to buy him his belt. He said, no, Mum, I'm a grown-up, I work, let me buy it myself. Do you know what I mean? So that was partly my shopping addiction, not addiction, I'm not going to use addiction. My shopping, I can be quite happy just spending a couple of quid even in the charity shop. Do you know what I mean? Maybe to get over that little bit of a buzz. But they do say that buzz then goes, and then what do you do? I can easily go around certain shops, especially decor. Used to get phoned up by family members, spend hours looking around something and not buy anything, and they're thinking, well, what was the point of it? Because I like shopping, even though I'm shopping, I'm sort of window shopping in the shop, but I'm not actually buying anything. I've done it once before where I've spent ages in a shop, like the range, and just come back with one bubble bath. But it was a nice bubble bath, but it's a bubble bath and it's useful. And we needed it. It's just that thing. And sometimes I do that and I think I'm going to go out my home, but I'm not going shopping unless, of course, I need some fruit, veg or something other than my weekly shop or a top of bread or milk. I don't need to purchase anything, but I'm going to go out because I need, like this particular case that I've gone back to Boots to get my medication. And I said, I don't need any fruit, veg, I don't need any shopping, but it's got umpteen shops in this Western Fable Centre that I was visiting at the time to get my meds. And I'm thinking, you know what, let me see, I'm going to be polite, I'm going to be positive, and I'm not going to shop. I was out about 3.5 to 4 hours, because after that I popped to the library. They do a large range of things through the library. They do coffee mornings, and I think they do career time and things like that. And I thought, well, and I sort of got some information on things they're doing through the library. I actually was sitting down, and when assistant said, can I help you? I said, no, I'm okay. I'm actually listening to the storytelling, because there was a storytelling to some children, some little tots, and I was just, you know, listening to it while I was checking my phone, because I was taking some information down of different groups that are going on. Again, I've got a library card. A lot of people don't use their libraries. Ours actually, I've done a mini computer course through the library as well, and things like that. It's surprising, different things going on. I know when my kids were younger, they used to do a lot during the holiday time, like board games and things like that in the library. So that's a good thing. So I spent quite a bit, I would say I spent about an hour in the library. I didn't borrow any books because I've got quite a lot, and I got a lot on my Kindle, but I just wanted to spend some time in a different environment other than my home. From there, where did I go then? I went into a couple of, just a bit of window shopping, like I said, in the store, but I was good. Didn't buy anything. And I popped into a primary school then, one where I know the headmistress. Unfortunately, she was off ill. I just made an inquiry and I've got an email to see whether they're taking any volunteers for reading with children, because that's something I used to do. Again, I thought it's a non-spend, it's being out of the home, it's socialising and things like that. I'm not in a place yet where I feel confident in actually going for an interview for a proper, dare I say, a proper job. I have actually had a informal interview at a charity shop, and I went in a few days ago, and they've actually sent me some details for a couple of days shifts, just brief little shifts, to see how I fit in, whether I enjoy it, with training and everything, and help out in a charity shop for a little while. I thought this was like a first semi step, getting myself back out there and doing things more out of the home. Um, but whereby that if I am in a really bad situation for whatever reason, I don't want to call it excuses. I want to call them hurdles more than anything, and say that especially if I've had treatment on my eyes, and I brought this up in the interview, that once a month I have to go to the hospital, and it depends if I have treatment, that I could be out of action for 5 to 7 days, depending what treatment I have done. I can't see very well, out of balance and things like that. And they're fine, and they said they can accommodate me, and I'm still having my induction. In fact, I've got my induction next week, so yeah, so I could put a few hours into the charity shop. It's again getting myself out there and see how I feel, and get back into a routine of, I'm doing this, this, and this. Need to be out by certain times for this, this, and this. I need this, and this, and this. You know where it's going, things like that. Yeah, I do apologise. I bet I've bored you to tears. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to put this up as it is, and I do apologise. And please don't comment to say you're bored to tears and thinking, oh, I fell asleep. Yeah, fell asleep, a good thing, but not necessarily bored. I've just relaxed you and everything. Maybe you can relate to some of the things, but sometimes I just got the impression that the world is a big place, even if it's in just sort of your neighbourhood or your town or something, and you're thinking, I can understand it, but why do people have to be horrible and nasty and everything? Why can't we just be a little bit happier, like a lot of people? Well, actually, again, it's a seesaw, isn't it, at Christmas? Sometimes you get the haters and the lovers, and sometimes, people can be, agitated because they left everything to the last minute. Sorry if you're one of those people at Christmas and rushing around and do get agitated because the queues are miles long and things like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's the way I'm trying to look at it. I have been out a number of times this week. I'm having a day in. I've managed to do my sort of decluttering, reviewing decluttering organisation, and a couple of days it's got like 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm thinking, do I really want to start now? But I'm in a good place. I've got dinner done. Daniel's having a bath and everything. Let me just spend 10-15 minutes. Sometimes it's only that, sometimes it's a bit longer, because sometimes I lose track of time and carry it on. I mean, one evening Daniel said, Mum, and I said, yeah. He said, do you want a drink? And I said, oh yeah, okay then. He says, are you stopping tonight? I said, well, it's early. And he says, well, it is 10 o'clock. I said, what? Because especially when it's my craft room, I lose track of time. Luckily, I haven't got sidetracked. I really want to get down to my crafting, but I still want to put my video up about all my home, all of my home. I keep saying this. I've got so much to go to the charity shop and the tip out of my sheds and things like that. But I'm still hoping to do that, just to prove a point that the spaces that I've already dealt with, I've remained organised and they work. If they start getting messy, I know there's too much stuff in there, or it needs reorganising, it's not working, that sort of thing. So I think I'm going to leave it here. Sorry if I've bored you to tears. I've probably gone totally off topic here, haven't I? Totally off topic to what I actually started about, finding ways to fill in that time. I mean, you might actually work and obviously got family and a number of different things going on. But board games is another one. Movie night, holding a games night. It's surprising. Instead of having going out to a restaurant or whatever, maybe you can do a agreement on a potluck food thing, and everybody brings something. Or if it's an evening, someone brings some form of snacks and everything. And if they happen to drink alcohol, ask them to bring their own alcohol or provide their own soft drinks and things like that. So the cost is not down to you. Make it over whole family even. It could be adults, mixture of adults and children. I've done all these sort of things for family get-togethers, parties and everything like that. It's surprising what you can come up with without actually spending money or sharing the cost, which helps. And I do apologise, I am going to definitely finish my video here because I've gone totally off topic. I'm going to just upload this as it is, and hands up, and I should have said this at the beginning, maybe I put it in the head title. Sorry, it's not a rant, it's just my views. Please be respectful of your comments. I will take on board, I do read all the comments. It might take me a while to actually reply to them, but I do get round to them, or try to. I know some slip through the net, but I do tend to do them in blocks. Maybe I should do them as soon as I can. It depends on how I'm feeling at the time, and whether I can see properly is another thing. Yeah, but hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.